I'm 25. I want to have a very secure future. I want to have a lot of savings and not have to worry about too much in the future. And I also want to be able to give to my community and to the causes that I care about. And that's what this budget is about. Before we get into the video, I want to introduce you to today's sponsor, Wondershare, and their product PDF Element. They just came out with a new version. I actually use this product a lot. I'm going to do a little tutorial here with you all, just going to show you some of its features because I think they're pretty cool and I've never seen some of these before. So I just opened up this document. So one of my favorite features is the OCR, and it helps you to recognize text, just like an image, so it will make it editable for you. I'm just gonna let that load for now. As you can see on the side, you have the ability to mark up a document, you can change the text on a document, you can add an image, link, you can make it into a form. There's so many different things that you could do with this tool, and it's just super intuitive. It also opens up a lot faster. I think it's like 300% faster. So as you can see here, the OCR was performed and I can now edit things. Hi. I spelled hi wrong. You can also combine PDF. You can remove certain pages. So let's convert it into something else, convert it to a Word document. One of my new favorite features is also the cloud storage function. They now allow you to have up to 100 gigabytes of cloud storage, which is really useful. One of the other things that I really like is the signature function. I don't have like a signature piece here that I need to sign, but I'm just going to show you what that works like. So you can do the digital signature by just clicking digital signature and then highlighting a portion of the document wherever it is, and then you're able to sign there. So that's really useful. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of this product, and if you're interested in trying it out at all, I would highly recommend checking out the links in my description box. We have a discount there that's available for anyone who would like to try it, and there's also an option to try it out for free. I also wanted to note that PDF Element 8 is only available on Windows right now, but the version for Mac should be following shortly. So yeah, this product is really great. I highly recommend you check it out. Once again, the links are in the description, and yeah, let's get on with the video. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is Rachel and I love to do videos about my job, what working and living in Washington DC is like, budgeting, and a lot of other things as well. I wanted to film this video because I know that a lot of us, if not all of us, have faced a lot of difficulty this past year with our budgets, with money, with our jobs, just different things like that. I know that the pandemic definitely affected my budget. I did this video previously in January 2020, and I'll link it up here somewhere. But I basically talked about my budget, my intentions for the year, how much debt I was going to pay off, and COVID really put a stop to a lot of those things. Because of the pandemic, we ended up changing our living situation. We ended up buying a house, and so obviously that cut into our finances quite a bit, and my budget that I show there didn't end up panning out really. So basically this is a budget about refocusing on my goals and hopefully helping you too as well, using the budget template that I have been using for the past 3 years successfully. So I mentioned in my 2020 budget video that I wanted to pay off a large chunk of my 30-ish K student loan debt. That didn't happen. Once the loans were put onto forbearance, I allowed that to happen and decided to prioritize putting my money elsewhere, which included on purchasing a house. I talked about paying off most of my credit card debt, which I did end up doing, putting a lot of money into emergency funds, savings, things like that, and I did end up doing all those things as well. So I will be showing what my actual real life budget is, with my credit card payments, with my, how much money I get each month, with my student loan payments, with all of that different stuff. And I think it could be really insightful and helpful for people who maybe have never done this before. I basically have 2 bank accounts, a joint one with my husband through Wells Fargo, and then one with Qapital. Qapital is a personal finance app that helps you save money and also has a checking account that you can use. I've had it 3 years now. It used to be free, but they have since begun charging for it. As one of the first users of the app, I got it free for longer than everyone else did. but I did end up having to pay for it starting, I think, like a year ago. I did weigh whether or not I wanted to pay for this personal finance app, but I found that the $60 a year fee dwarfed the amount that I saved using this app. So I found this app to be beneficial to me, and I also like just having the extra card that I know that this card is specifically for my joy, I don't know, for spending things like groceries, things that I want that I don't need, things like that, versus the other card is for more serious things like my mortgage payment and utilities, bills, savings, things like that. Okay, so as you can see, I have put my budget up here somewhere. It is on a Google Excel sheet or Google Sheets sheet. I just found that to be most useful for me. I can access it on my phone. If I'm in the grocery store and checking my budget, I can just access it anywhere, and it's so much easier. So as you can see, that's what it looks like. On the left are all both my expenses and my income. So my job, I make a little bit of money on YouTube now, really not that much at all, but you know, that's going toward my student debt. A reimbursement that I might get, and then my total income will show there. Monthly responsibilities, including my home payment, Google storage. I do pay like $1.99 for that. One of my student loans, second student loan, and then my credit card consolidated payment. And then grown-ish, that's what I called it. Savings, phone bill, progressive car insurance, and then other bus, train, gas, consumables, trips, and clothes. So that's typically what my expenses look like. There are some other things that are in chunks of this. For my home payment, that also includes some money for bills and also some money for jigs in my spending, because that money goes into our direct account. So that's what this looks like. Up on the top here, we start having all of the dates for every row that it's for a specific term. So this term is from January 1st to January 15th. And then the next one is January 15th to February 1st. As you can see here, each term has 2 rows, one for the budget and one for the actual spending. As you can see here, that's just how I organize it, and it has just proved to be really useful for me. So you can easily make a copy of this budget by just hitting File, make a copy, and then copying it onto your own, and that way you can edit it and turn it into your own thing. So let's start without anything in it. So I know that I'm gonna make $2,130 on January 1st. On YouTube, I know that I'm going to get paid $25 for something that I've done. Reimbursement, I think I'm going to get $15 from my job for Wi-Fi, something like that. I know that for my home payment, I'm going to put in $1,300 for this period. Jake and I split our mortgage payment, and we also split anything related to the house. Google storage, I pay $1.99, $161.72, so that's my university loan. My Nelnet loan, it's still going to be in deferment at this point, so nothing at that point. And then for payoff, not sure yet because that's not due until the 15th. I also will typically put the due dates for specific things next to the names as well. For my phone bill, I know that I have to make a $135 payment for a 3-month period. Nothing for my progressive car insurance because I pay that in a lump sum. Gas, $20. Consumables, I typically now leave $400 for myself for those 2 weeks to spend on groceries, clothing, just fun things for myself. And that's my choice there. So I have $136 left over, and I abide by the rule that every dollar has to be placed somewhere to be used. So I'm going to pop this into the debt that I want to pay off ASAP, which is the lowest, that has the lowest balance. So that's payoff, and I'm going to pop that in there. So now it's sum 0. So let's say on January 14th, January 15th, I'm going through my budget and I'm like, oh, okay, that's right, I didn't make that much money. YouTube, they gave me $5 extra just for kicks. Reimbursement, I didn't get my reimbursement this month. I have to contact HR about that, but I'm not going to put that in here because I didn't get that money. For my home payment, I did end up putting $1,300 toward that. Google storage, $199. My Heartland loan, I did put $161.72 toward that. I didn't actually end up paying that toward payoff, but I did end up needing to save it for a trip that's coming up. So I'm going to put that in there. And then I did transfer the consumables, the $400 to my Qapital card, which is what I use to spend my consumables. That way I can't touch any of the money that's like necessary for other things. I did end up having to put $25 in gas. Phone bill was $135, so it was actually under, I actually went over my budget $25. So that's shown here, and whenever that happens, I'll highlight it in red just so that I can see that I messed up. And that happened because I didn't get that reimbursement, but I still needed to fill up my car. So that's something that happened, and I'm gonna move on. For January 15th, maybe I know I'm not gonna get anything from YouTube, and I know that I am gonna get a $30 reimbursement to make up for the previous one that was missing. So I always pay things off as soon as my paycheck comes in. Like the moment that my paycheck comes in, I will get on my computer, pay off anything that I have to pay off for that term, just as soon as it happens, so that I cannot see that money in my bank account anymore and that I can't spend that money anymore. So that's something I like to practice. Something else that I like to do is start to track how much I'm going, when I'm going to pay off my debts. So on the right side, I'll usually have like list how much debt I have. So for my Heartland loan, I know I have that much money, 3,000 something. My payoff loan, I consolidated my credit card. So a brand called Payoff, they are actually really good. I paid off like $6,000 of credit card debt, and now I have $5,608 left. So that's how much I need to pay off. So I know that I want to pay off my Heartland loan and my payoff this year. So I am going to make sure these numbers here, which is the sum total of all the numbers to the left, you know, that they add up and that they equal this amount at least, so that I make sure that I actually hit those goals. Okay, so what I will also do is I'd like to do the snowball method. So if you have debt like me, one of my favorite ways to pay off my debt is to attack the one with the lowest balance. So I have debt, like my student debt is in the 30,000s. Next below that is my Heartland student loan debt, and then there's my credit card debt, and then whenever I have any leftover money, so maybe let's say that, so I actually only have to make a $536 payment on the 15th, like that's my actual payment date. But once I put in all of, you know, my expenses, I'm only going to put $300 toward my home payment. I still have my gas and consumables. I still have $874 left over. So what I'm going to do with that money is not just spend it on myself. I'm going to put it towards my my debt. So that's going to go over here. So $1,410. So I'm actually going to, as soon as I get my paycheck, pay $1,410 into the payoff. So that way I'll be closer to achieving my goal and paying off my debt. So I will do this every month for the next few months, paying off towards my my debt. And then once I plan to pay off that debt, so for this one, it's April 15th. That day I get paid, I'm going to transfer in the last, or pay the last amount that I owe, and then I highlight that section green. And then I like to black out the entire rest of the row, just so that I don't have to look at it anymore. And it kind of feels good. I'm like, I don't have to pay anything into that anymore. So usually these will match. I think I messed something up while I was in here. But I'll make sure this matches and that I have paid that off in full. And so once I finish paying off that debt, I'll start hitting my next debt. So I actually gave myself a little like a little gift, I guess. I didn't start immediately paying off the next one. So for May 1st, I decided to put $430 extra to my savings. My home payment includes my savings, my joint savings with my husband, but I'm going to put this $430 toward my personal savings, just for my own stuff, you know? But then the next month is when we start attacking the Heartland loan. So the Heartland loan, I don't even think I owed a payment for that one. So I had $1,056 left over, and I start hitting the next one. And so for the next few months, I am once again paying off as much as I can into that. And then on July 15th, I will ideally be done with this loan. And then I'll be left with one loan, my largest student loan debt, which I plan to pay by the end of 2022 because it's quite a larger one. And this is helpful because it reduces the amount of monthly payments I have to make. Like, I'm so excited to get rid of the payoff because it will eliminate this $500 chunk that I have to pay every month. So that's going to be super exciting. So now let's look at, for example, if you're not me and you're somebody else entirely, and this isn't how much you make. So let's get rid of all of this. So let's say that you make $1,400 per twice a month, and that's how much you make. And then you also have a side hustle that you make $800 per term or whatever. So let's say that you don't have a home payment, but that you do have rent, and that costs you $700. So that's a pretty high debt, house to income ratio, but that's what this budget is for. This budget is to make sure that you have enough money to go around and hopefully to save. So you also have a student loan. The payment is $120. Your phone bill is, I don't know how much phone bills are. How much are phone bills? $60. And you have a Metro card that is $40 bi-weekly. Your Netflix account costs you, how much does Netflix cost nowadays? I use my husband's father's. And then your credit card payment, so let's say Discover payment, is, the minimum payment is $35. Let's say you spend about $250 per, like twice a month on food, groceries, things that you need. So you have $284 left over. Let's say that you don't have your emergency fund set up. You need at least $1,000 emergency fund. And so you're gonna put some money towards that. And you're gonna move this up immediately. Like, as soon as you get your paycheck, move it into this separate account. Phone bill, Wi-Fi bill, say that's 20. And then another 50 for utilities or something. So let's say that you end up being able to move $214 into your savings. So that's what a budget will look like for someone else. Let's pretend you're a different person and you don't make that much money. Maybe you're a student and you're making $600 and you don't pay for your own rent. Maybe you have a student loan that pays for that, so that's nothing, but you do have to pay utilities, and you typically take that out of your pay. Okay, so then you use your campus's bus or train system, so you don't have to pay anything for that. That's really good. You are planning a trip with your friends to go up to NorCal, road trip. You are trying to make it budget friendly, so you budget $75 or $100 for that weekend. And your Netflix account, you have to have Netflix for that Netflix and chill during college. And then you do have a credit card payment, misfortunately, so that's $25. Jesus, you're rich. And you're in college, so you're spending a lot on booze and going out with your friends and things like that, so you have $300. Okay. So now let's say that you are working basically full-time, you are a student, and you are paying for your housing. So let's say that you make $1,200 every 2 weeks. Your rent, you manage to get some pretty good rent for $500, a pretty good rental situation for $500. You're not going to pay that much toward Discover because that'd be crazy. Your Netflix, you still have Netflix, you have to, live the good life somehow. You have a credit card payment, also $25, utilities, $100, and you have maybe you like to put money towards your car and maybe some fixes that you have to make. And so then you will also have to put $100 or $25 or $30 toward gas, because you drive around a lot for your work. And then you spend about $250 on groceries and things like that for the 2 weeks. In addition to that, your phone bill is $70. So let's say you have $200 left over. You should pop that into savings if you don't have your emergency fund. And if you do have your emergency fund, maybe grow it a little bit more, I would say. I don't like Dave Ramsey's $1,000 emergency fund because some emergencies are much more expensive than that. So that's what that budget would look like for people that make a little bit less money than I do, or a lot less if they're a student, things like that. So there's a lot of different options that you do, especially with this budget. It's very versatile, and you can basically do a million different things with it. So that's this budget here, and like I said, it's usually very helpful to list which debts you have at the very end of it. I usually update it every month with my new balances, just to, you know, show how much I still owe, and I can't just be spending money willy-nilly. And yeah, so that's my budget. That's how I budget. I would definitely check out other budget videos out there to see if you find one that better fits your style. But this is what my budget looks like. I find it super useful. I have been able to save a ton of money and pay off a lot of money, pay off a lot of debt using this budget and the Qapital app that I put my consumables onto. Another fun note about the consumable section is that, like I said, I usually put $400 in there, and I don't always spend that much. So on Qapital, I'll be able to have sync funds, like their special savings sections where you can save for specific things, and you can put a picture, like vacation picture, and you can move money from your main account to these savings sections. So I will typically actually move any extra money that I don't spend throughout the month. Or like maybe I really want a Starbucks, and I start driving to Starbucks, and then I think, no, I don't need a Starbucks, I should use that money for something else. I'll move the $5 to my sync fund and end up spending it on something else that's more important to me than a coffee that day. So over the last year, I was able to raise my credit score, pay off a lot of my credit card debt, and I even bought a house, so that was pretty exciting. If you have student debt, I'd recommend looking up Dave Ramsey or Aja Jang, who really inspired me to begin this journey to get rid of my student debt and have a better handle on my money. I'm 25. I want to have a very secure future for myself. I want to have a lot of savings and not have to worry about too much in the future. And I also want to be able to give to my community and to the causes that I care about. And that's what this budget is about for me personally. So if you're in a similar mindset, doesn't matter how old you are, you can get started on this. And I really hope that you were able to benefit a lot from this video. And if you have any questions, if you have appreciated this video, anything like that, please leave it in the comment section below, as I really appreciate that input and reading those comments and all of that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, everyone. I really appreciate you checking this out and clicking on this video, and please make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Bye.